Hi guys, and welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have Gizelle Bryant from The Real Housewives of Potomac. Gizelle is an OG cast member. She is the word on the street. She is still the word on the street. She will continue to be the word on the street going forward, because if there's one thing about Gizelle, she gets the assignment. She gets her role in the show, and she kind of always has. And I think, love her, hate her, somewhere in between. You can't deny that Gizelle knows how to bring it for the show. She knows what makes the show work, and she always has. And I think that can't be denied. So I always love interviewing Gizelle. She's very forthcoming, I think, in an interview setting, and we really talked all things season 6. We talked about her and Karen. We talked about her and Wendy. We talked about the Nicki Minaj of it all. We also got into chat room. I think it's really interesting, the chat room thing, because I think I always am intrigued when Bravo talent gets sort of like an extra opportunity, whether it's a talk show like that or a spin-off, or gets to be in some of the advertisements or things like that, whether that sort of creates tension with any of their co-stars because they weren't chosen for these opportunities. So I asked about chat room a good amount, and I think Gizelle is always a great interview, and I think any Potomac fan will love this interview. So keep listening for an interview with Gizelle Bryant. Tune in to The Real Housewives of Potomac Sundays at 8, best night of the week, and please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so we're here with Gizelle Bryant of The Real Housewives of Potomac. She is the word on the street. She is still the word on the street. Gizelle, always good to see you.
Always, Gibson. Very good to see you.
I like to kick off every interview with a housewife just asking how you're doing. We're I guess like we're almost halfway through the season at this point. How are you holding up this season right now?
Great. I think that, clearly the viewers are happy.
Yes, very, very. The ratings are good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think that it was a good season. It was a little tough because it was COVID and all that. We had to follow those guidelines. Yeah. But the fact that we had to we pretty much filmed with each other, and we were in each other's face so freaking much. High drama.
Totally. Yeah. And we, I was at that Tea Time on the Potomac event to kick off the season. And one of the producers said that it's the best Housewives season produced during COVID. And I have to agree with that. I think that it's acknowledged, but it's not totally a factor. And you guys just leaned into sort of hanging out at people's houses in groups. And I think it's working.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I have to give, credit where credit is due to the cast. Totally. They kind of asked us in the beginning of the season, if you can avoid traveling on your own time, please do that so that we can really get through this show and really show it so that people aren't reminded every 5 seconds that COVID is happening. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the cast just really fell in line. We were so on top of making sure that we were safe so that we could make it nice. Also, by the time we were done, I think all of the cast was vaccinated. So that was an added plus. And
the timing worked out.
Yeah, timing worked out. And that plays into the season with Miss Karen, which is absolutely hilarious.
So we get a vaccine storyline. That's a new one. Honestly, great. Maybe it will influence some people to get it. From your experience, how does this season, either while watching it, while filming, how did it compare to last? You know best. What, from your experience, sort of how does it compare?
Yeah. So, last season we got to a really dark place. It was a whole lot of toxic. And from the beginning, season 1, I never wanted to get there. And so my objective and my thoughts were we've got to get back to who we are as a show, which is we're fun, we're funny, we have a lot of drama, but it's lightweight. It's not, we don't ever want to get to the dark because it's just so hard to get out of it. And so I feel like season 6, we're there.
100%. And I've also interviewed Candace and Ashley at the beginning of this season, and they said the same thing. They said that there was sort of a group consensus that was just listen, we have to kind of do a reset here. The reunion especially was just a little bit too nasty, maybe. A lot too. Yeah, a lot too. And I think, obviously Monique did not come back this season. And for you, is that a big part of like you guys' ability to reset, is just kind of to look forward in that way?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if she was around, we definitely would not have had the season that we're having right now. There was just no way to kind of move past where we were in season 5. So, we are onwards and upwards, Gibson.
We are. And I think, speaking of, I mean, you and Karen, I think we have to get into you and Karen. And I've said for years now, I mean, that I think that you two are the most electric duo that Bravo has had since probably Nene and Kim. I think that it's like, there is something about you guys. And I think that it's because it can't be manufactured. It can't be curated for TV. There is like an established relationship between you guys that goes back, and it just is what it is. And I think that, I think back to, I think it was season 3 or 4, you guys both came into the office and we did interviews separately, but you guys had a press day together, and it was fun. And I think that back then I felt like it was more based in that like lighter shade, and it's still fun. I love watching you guys on TV, but I do kind of feel like there was a slight change maybe at some point last season, and it's gone into this season where it is a little bit less fun shade. It's more serious shade. As a fan of both of you, I hope that we can kind of get past that. What's your sort of mentality around that? And are we going to see any actual resolution between you two, or is it just going to be kind of agree to disagree?
Yeah. I think, no, as the season progresses, you'll see us get to a better place for sure. Nobody wants to fight all the time. And like, for instance, chat room, like, she was on chat room last week, and it was, similar to what we used to be, fun shade, slight digs, but, we do know how to laugh together. So, we're there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the Bravo's chat room episode, it proved that you guys can still play in the shade together and have it be, it's fun, and it's like you can spar, but how to, you guys just know it. And I think that, do you hear that from fans a lot, that it's you two as a duo that really gives that sort of extra level of something, X factor?
I do hear from the fans that, I have a tendency, like, I'm kind of like, I give shade to everybody. Everybody on the show gets Gizelle.
Totally.
Karen, on the other hand, no. She just only wants to talk about me and me and me and me. And so I hear that from the fans. I hear, like, is she ever going to have anything to say about anyone else but Gizelle? So she needs to get there, because, I share my shade. She needs to share hers.
But Gizelle, you must feel like at this point you can take anything from her. Like, I feel like you've maybe heard it all from her.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's just, I mean, I don't even care. And I'm a little borderline. She's just a very amusing person. So fighting with her at this point is a little boring, because we do better when we're kind of okay.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And I think, just more broadly speaking, I think that speaks to, and you've always been this way. You've always had a thick skin. You've always been able to take it from pretty much anybody, it seems.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've noticed it even more, because sometimes the attacks or sometimes what people say to you can be like, they would hurt a lot of people. And I think for you let it roll off your back, or at least that's how we sort of see it from you. What sort of like is there like a self-defense mechanism or something that you kind of tell yourself to have that roll off your back? Or like, how do you, especially when it comes like maybe the Jamal of it all, when it gets like more than surface level, how do you sort of deal with that, with the kind of words that come to you in that way?
Most of the time when people are angry and they're screaming and they're yelling and they're going crazy, like on me, it's typically they're mad because of their issues, but they're taking it out on me. And I know that, the whole Wendy thing last week. No, Wendy, you're mad at you and what's going on with you. Like, there's no way that you could have gotten that angry. And Jamal is an easy target, so people can say whatever they want about Jamal. I don't care at all. It won't even faze me in any way, because I know my relationship with this guy. He's been in my life way before I met these people, and he will always be in my life. So that doesn't even bother me.
Right.
And it's kind of like, guys, come up with something else, because like that's too easy of a target.
Right.
So, my position always is, whatever you're screaming about, that has to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. I'm good over here.
Totally. Yeah. And I can sense that from you. And I feel like you've heard it all. So at this point, it's like, what's the new, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just kind of shrug.
Yeah.
Or as you did it, or as you did in Williamsburg, you were just kind of sipping through your drink, and it's like, watching it all happen. Yeah. And I feel like with you and Wendy, it's wild. It is wild because you guys were on the same quote unquote side last year. And I think that couldn't be more different this year. And it's definitely a 180 with you guys.
Right.
What for you is behind that change?
Her, 100% her. I mean, there was absolutely nothing malicious about the conversation with me and Ashley about her husband. There was nothing malicious done, but that's the only way she took it. So, that has to do with her. And I kind of feel like, she's always obviously had a problem with me. I just didn't know it, because there's no way that you can be that angry at somebody for really kind of like nothing. And still be that way. Like, we'll see this play out for the entire season, which is very sad, because it really didn't have to. Well, sad but good. We're doing a television show here.
Good TV show. Yeah, that's a good disclaimer.
Yes, but as a friend off the show, it's kind of like, wow, you really show me who you are, and you really, it's totally different from the woman that I've met last year. And to be honest with you, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I mean, I don't have much invested in Wendy. I don't need to kind of fix it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, whatever. Totally.
But I guess from her side, do you see that why she would be upset with you not just coming directly to her with this story or bringing it up? I feel like that's sort of her main argument.
Right. I'm going to give you a little tea, Gibson.
Okay.
Because before the season even started, she and I talked about it on the phone. Like, we talked about all the social media stuff, and it was a very rushed conversation, and we had to get off the phone. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to readdress this with her, but like, not the reaction that she had in Williamsburg at all. Like, very, very, very strange, different. If by no means, because I had talked to her about these things before, and she was just kind of like very upset about. She wasn't upset about any of it, right? So it's just like, to talk about it on camera clearly is not going to upset you. Like, it was just her reaction for me was bonkers.
Do you think it was because you brought it up on camera? Is that the difference for her?
But why would that be the difference when you weren't upset about it off camera?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying, for sure.
So I didn't, and because everyone clearly is saying, we don't believe this, and we talk about people's husbands. Like,
yeah, it's happened to everybody for sure. I mean, at this point, yeah. It's par for the course.
We talk about the good, the bad, the everything. It's not just like, oh, we're trying to trash people. No, these are conversations that if we're girlfriends, we have, period.
Yeah. And and again, I talked about this with Candace, I think, which is like, the blogs are sort of like this eighth cast member a little bit. It's sort of always another factor, I think, on Potomac. And we've seen it over the years, is that like, it does play into it. And so yeah. It's obviously tough territory, but
right. I mean, Gibson, let's even talk about like Ashley last season, when me and Candace pulled her to the side to talk about Michael and all that drama. Like, Ashley didn't lose her mind and go
very
crazy.
Different reactions, right?
Yeah. And, you know what I'm saying? And that was like, we have videotapes.
I feel like the other sort of tangential criticism here is that like, some people are getting mad about sort of the attachment to, oh, Wendy changed this, and sort of like, we're talking about like the sort of like her look a lot, and I think that's sort of, I've seen that in sort of the fan circles and fan accounts have talked a lot about that criticism. What's your response to that?
about us
like
talking.
I think yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys talking about it.
It was never the issue. I mean, well, it was kind of the issue in the beginning because you lied about what your surgeries were. That was just weird. But like, if you want to, I mean, we're all women. If you want to get your boobs done, your butt done, who cares, right? And it wasn't that. It was how you are acting. It's how you are treating Mia. It's how you are treating people unnecessarily. It's you being so rehearsed. You know, you're coming into a scene like with rehearsed lines. It was just, it's the TikTok of it all. You know, it's all of that.
Right.
Yeah, it was all very off-putting. And we're not those women. We're not those women that come in and it's like trying to read people with lines. Like those aren't our scenes. That's not what we do. So it was just like, wow, she's been practicing in the mirror a whole lot.
Well, let's like flip the script a little bit to Mia, because I think that, you know, I think that she's been really fun to have. I think that she brings a new energy. I think her story is amazing, and you know, she really hasn't been that afraid to jump into it, and I think that's refreshing and great, especially, you know, you guys are a solid group, so coming in and holding her own has been impressive to me. Obviously, you guys had that little text exchange and that was pretty wild, I think. But then you sort of saw past that, and then you guys had lunch together, and it was nice. What can you just talk to me about your relationship with Mia one-on-one and sort of what we can expect going forward from you guys?
You know, Mia is fine. I think that Mia brings an energy to the group that's different, right? And different in a way that I like, because she is smart. And even if she's smart in her own way that's different from me, I don't care. I just love smart women, right? And she kind of gets the dynamic of the group, and she's not trying to tear anyone down to be in the group. And that's what I loved about Mia. Like, she just was like, I'm here, right? And I don't need to tear anybody down to be here.
That's a good point.
Whereas I felt like Wendy's second season, it was kind of like, I'm here. I've bought new things that I've purchased on my body, and now I want to tear people down in order to stay here. And that's problematic.
Well, yeah, I think, you know, I think they've both sort of gotten into the group pretty well, but I totally see what you're saying. And I'm just excited. I think, again, I'm excited for Mia. And I think that what's so great about Potomac is that you guys do have the staying power from you guys and the OGs. And I never want it to end, but I think that being able to welcome in these new people and is always really important. And so I think that you guys are really striking a really nice balance there. And I think it's proven with Mia this year. So yeah, for sure. And she holds her own. And Lord Gibson, y'all have not gotten a taste of her husband yet. Okay. Oh.
Y'all gonna get to Gordon soon.
So he's gonna join the club in terms of the husband getting into it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm waiting for that one. Okay. And I have to say, Gizelle, I think I tweeted this out, but your scenes with your daughters, to me, are some of my favorite across any Housewives franchise. Like I'm not just saying that. Like, to me, there's something so special and so unrehearsed and so just real about you and your daughters having takeout together at the table, or driving to get to do the driving test, or just the dynamic there is so fun and funny. And I feel like they've leaned into sort of shading you in recent years in a light way, which is, I think, hilarious. And talk to me about filming with them, because to me, it just comes across so well on the show. And I just really, really love it.
You know, after this season, I did have to talk to them and be like, look, guys, y'all are killing me out here. Like, what is going on? But you know, I don't mind it, because if the cameras weren't there, they'd be doing that anyway. Like, my girls are who they are, and they're very honest. I think what you're seeing is like real. It's like honesty. Totally. It's like a mother-daughter relationship. And we've kind of seen them grow up a bit, and they are my favorite thing to do, is to be with them. And so when I get to film with them, it's just like even more exciting. Like I'm so excited to film with them. They're like, when they kind of like tell me like, or like ask me like, what are we going to do this week for filming? They talk about my kids. I'm like, yes, I get to film with my kids.
Yes.
Like, I just love being with them. And I think it comes across.
1000%. And I think that they clearly enjoy it, but they don't enjoy it too much to the point where like, you don't like, they're just being themselves. And it's like,
yes,
I'm taking, for example, like, obviously it was tough when the driving test didn't work out, but to see the twins in the back seat sort of eyeing each other and like, okay, how do we react? That was sort of like what was not said and not said there. It was just, again, you can't make that up. It just is what it is. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me just say this, because they love each other and they're so sweet to each other and they protect each other. When that was over, they were so mad at me because they were like, how could you let Grace go through this on camera? I'm like, oh no, she was going to fail
totally
again. Like literally, Gibson, we had cupcakes, we had balloons to celebrate the fact that she had passed and she didn't. So it was like,
breaks my heart.
If I thought she was like not going to pass that freaking test, that we would not have had a whole camera crew here. So I did love that. I loved how they just protect each other.
For sure. Does she eventually pass? Can we say that?
Yeah. Oh, we've got so much more to come with Grace and her driving. Yes.
Okay. I love to hear it.
It incorporates more cast members. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe some driving lessons from Robin. I'm spitballing here.
Yes. We'll see. I don't want to give it away, but it's because I don't want to give it away because Gibson, I haven't even seen it because I wasn't there.
Got it. Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I love it. So some quicker topics. Obviously, the Nicki Minaj of it all. I mean, like, you could not have predicted this, like, ever. Like, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Would you love to see her host a reunion or at least like be involved in some capacity? Obviously.
Of course. I mean, would we get anything accomplished with Nicki hosting? Absolutely not. But would we have so much fun? Yes, we would. It was such a shock. It was
it came out of nowhere.
Right. Like, what's happening here? If she's not there, I'm going to be asking Andy, where the hell is she? Let me just say that. Like, where is she, Andy?
To me, it's a layup. And to me, it's just like, come on, we got to do this. And I mean, I guess you guys had done the Potomac for like video, which was amazing. And that must have caught her eye. But to know that she is such a hardcore fan of you guys, and now she's like shading Escale on her story, and it's like, poor girl. I don't know. It's just, I love how into it she is. I really do. I feel a kinship.
Yes, me too. I think it's got to happen. If it doesn't happen, let me call up some Bravo execs.
If anything, let's get a little like post reunion special, like unanswered questions or something like that. I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not like the actual reunion, I would take anything, to be honest. So I'm just putting it out there in the universe.
Yes.
I feel like something that I feel like is sort of a constant thing for you to deal with, but also I think what is sort of like, you and Robin being like such a tight-knit duo. And I think it makes sense because you guys are best friends and you've known each other for a long time and you're the Green-Eyed Bandits and we love it. But I do think that some people think it's like, you guys don't diverge enough or maybe that you guys don't, I feel like maybe people say you blindly support one another, I would say, but I don't personally really think that, but I'm curious for you, would you ever, and I don't want Robin to go anywhere, but what would the show look like without, like, whether it was Robin that stayed or you that stayed, like just one of you? What do you think that would feel like to not have that sort of built-in BFF in the show? Just hypothetical.
Yeah, it would be sad.
Yeah, of course.
It would be like, I can't even think about it, really.
Yeah.
But I can say this: for years, Robin has always clearly, yes, I'm shady. I'm ridiculous. I say all kinds of nonsense out of my mouth. I get it. But Robin has checked me on it every season and they don't show it. And I feel like it's not allowed for the fans to see that, our friendship is real within us. Like, she might not check me in front of the group, but she's going to check me on it. With the whole t-shirt, Gibson. Remember I did the t-shirt, tax reform and all that nonsense? Robin was like, don't do this. She was like, do not, this is going to go horribly wrong. Okay.
But we never saw that. Yeah.
It's iconic because it went horribly
it's iconic. Oh, it never forget. That's a moment of history.
Right. But like, they're not showing that. But something did go down this season that I hope to God they show, because like Robin was so pissed at me. So there's that. But if if there was like one without the other, I don't like that.
It would be maybe missing part of the formula. But I think kind of proof in the pudding of what you just said, it's not necessarily checking them, but like you bringing Robin aside in Williamsburg, going up to that porch and having a real heart-to-heart moment with her, to me, that's the real friendship. That's telling her the hard truth. And I think that is indicative of that for sure, that we do get some of those moments and they get maybe overlooked
right. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Gibson, a part of that was because we were working on Reasonably Shady, and it was more like, and to know me is to know like I am like a personality. I don't let anything get in the way of my coins. So that was the start of that conversation. Like, look, you're telling me you're struggling over here mentally, you're having struggles with Juan. We're about to be in business together. And that's my name out here on the streets. And like, we're not going to mess that up. So like, can you handle something else added to your plate, being a podcast in which we've got to like produce every week?
For sure.
And that was a big part of that conversation too, which they didn't show. But
that's good context to have
that conversation, obviously, in front of the other ladies, because they didn't even know at that point we were working on a podcast.
Totally. Yeah. You guys had sort of been kind of a little cryptic about telling them about it. So so I totally get that. So Gizelle, I do want to, finish a little bit with some chat about chat room, because I think that, we talked a little bit before we started recording, but I feel like I got the impression that when chat room was first announced, that it was sort of a test. I think that it felt like it was sort of like, let's see how this goes. Let's put these four women together and see if people love it. And I think it's the fact that it's been ordered for more episodes multiple times proves that it's a success, and it proves that there's an appetite for watching you guys break down all the Bravo tea and talk about pop culture. And it's just a fun thing to watch. You must feel good about just having this whole other series that has worked out.
Yeah. You're right. It started in the pandemic because I think, Bravo needed programming, and we're trying to figure out like, how can we make something with these people virtually or whatever. And they ordered 6 shows. And Portia just reminded me last week we filmed our 53rd show, I think.
50? I didn't even realize it was that many. That's wild.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was 51 or 52. And when Portia and I just talked about it last week, and I was like, holy shit, we've done 50 something shows of chat room. Like, yes, I'm very slow. Things hit me very, It's
honestly probably better, Gizelle, because then you don't think about it in the moment. It's like you're sort of past that. Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, if we never do another one, the fact that this show was created, I helped create it, and it's gone on for 50 shows. And it is successful, and it is so much fun. I was very happy. Portia and I think, the 4 of us in the beginning, Portia, Kate, and Hannah, like the 4 of us had great chemistry from the gate. And then, Hannah and Kate are obviously not there anymore, but Portia and I just love talking to each other. We just love like laughing and being silly. So I think that's kind of like the beauty of it. And I've enjoyed with these other people coming in. Like I've enjoyed, oh my gosh, that Brandy Glanville, Lord have mercy. She's so
she's a dynamo, right? Exactly. She'll say whatever. It's refreshing. And I agree. I told you this, but I really do think the co-host, the guest co-host situation is working. And I think that you guys chose a great group to start it out with. And, it just, people tune in for the tea about the individual shows that the guests are on. And I think it makes each episode a little bit different, but you and Portia are great anchors of it, and it's working.
And so we're going to get Annie to go on more vacations so that That it's all about chat room.
Come on, boss. Exactly. Oh my God, that's so funny. And you know what? Like, I have to say, like, it's not lost on me that this is a late night show co-hosted by two Black women. And that, I don't know if that exists anywhere else on TV, Gizelle. And to me, that's a little bit quiet. It's a little bit quietly revolutionary if you really think about it. And I think Bravo's really at the forefront of breaking down a lot of these barriers, but the chat room specifically, late night is notoriously a pretty closed off space.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's all white men. And for you guys to be there and holding your own and having this great time and people are loving it, it's not lost on me. I think it's really special.
You know what, Gibson? I didn't even notice until you just now said that. I'm so excited right now. I think I'm gonna tweet that. Like, this is good stuff.
No, it really is. I think it's it's not necessarily like pegged as that, but I think if you really think about what the other offerings are out there, I think chat room's doing something, and I think it's really cool.
Yes, I love it. And I don't know if you know this, our executive producer, Michelle Kenner, she's a Black woman. So amazing. That's been great too. Yeah, that has been great too. Yes, Black Girl Magic.
We love to see it. We love to see it. And I feel like you mentioned like how Kate and Hannah were there before and now they're not there.
Yeah.
Was that, what can you say about that? Because was that just a case of them? Like, I mean, I guess Hannah's not on Summer House anymore. Kate's not on Below Deck. Was that tied into, or what was sort of that process like? Because I think it's working with you and Portia. I'm just curious what you can say about that.
They don't give us any explanations, but for Hannah specifically, I can say that yes, she's no longer going to be on Summer House. So I think some of the beauty of the show is like, I'm able to talk about Potomac.
Exactly.
Of course, she's able to talk about Atlanta. And then she has a new series coming out. She's able to talk about that. So it made sense to me that Hannah didn't continue. And same with Kate. So, I mean,
Yeah, it'd be weird if they were just on chat room and like not on any other. Right, exactly. And I feel like, like you just said, I think it was fun when Karen got to come on. And I think we talked about it was light shade. I think it adds a sort of extra layer of like commentary. And like, I mean, we get the after shows and stuff like that, but it's the sort of extra layer of, okay, let's just rehash what we just watched. And I think that's fun for people. And I'm curious just for you, like, you're the only one of Potomac that sort of gets that opportunity every week. And I think that, again, I think you do an amazing job, but did it create any sort of tension with the cast, or was it like, you know what, no, this makes sense, good for Gizelle, let's cheer her on?
Have you seen Karen talk about me? It's never nice. So
I haven't seen any chat room commentary. Maybe I'm missing that.
No. I'm saying just in general.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
But no, when the show first came along, all of the ladies, minus Karen and Wendy, called me or text me or whatever. It just very, very congratulatory. By the way, we're filming with Candace tomorrow. Candy Pants will be
nice
in the chat room. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, I felt like it could, to be honest with you, I felt like it could be an area of the other ladies feeling like, Gizelle has this opportunity and we don't, and a little, I don't want to say jealousy, but just, weirdness.
Totally. But I do feel like at the end of the day, it's like Bravo celebrities get different opportunities at different times. Yes. And I think that there's different things to be pulled into at different moments. And this is your moment for Bravo's chat room.
Yeah, 100%. I totally feel that way. And this was just a good fit, I think, for me. But there's so many things that Bravo has that, they plug in the ladies. So, totally. Nobody's jealous of anything.
And to round it out here, I'm curious for you, we mentioned Portia's spinoff, and I think a lot of people are excited about that. But if you were to think of like a Potomac spinoff for any of the ladies, what do you think would be sort of like, would make the most sense, or would be sort of the most fun, even for you just to watch it? Like, what do you think would be a fun idea? Because I feel like there's a lot there.
A couple things. I would like an RV trip. Like Robin and I have, Robin and I have talked about it, but we haven't like talked about it like in a real way to execs. We've talked about it jokingly to execs, but like an RV with my kids, her kids, because like her kids are like way different from mine. Like, you know, it's boys. Okay.
Very much so.
Yes. And we're just hitting the open road in the RV. Like Juan might pop in, you know,
that'd be good.
Would be huge fun. Let's see. I think that Ashley, and now that she's got these two boys running around all over the place, I'd like to see something like that, like kindergarten Ashley or something like.
I could see it. I think we get glimpses of the home life with her and the kid life, but I feel like it'd be entertaining to watch a full day of that life.
Yes. So I think that would be good as well. I love that.
I love that. Well, you know, obviously as a super fan, I would love for any of those things to happen. So again, I'm a big believer of putting things out into the universe. Maybe it'll come back and happen, you know?
Yeah. To be honest with you, Rob and I did a pilot and we were tricked, and it was like glamping. They told us it was going to be glamping, and we did it with somebody else. And anyway, long story short, it wasn't glamping. They literally pitched a tent in the middle of the woods with animals and was like, get in there and go to sleep. And I cried. I mean, it was so horrible.
Take me home. No.
Yes. So we're not doing that, but we can do definitely the RV situation for sure.
Right. That's a good meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, Gizelle, this has been so fun. What can you again, there's a lot more to come in this season. You've teased some stuff, you know, what else can we expect from the rest of season 6 of Potomac? Because I feel like the ride is just getting started, honestly.
It is. Well, you know, there's a big turn for me in this season when I break an appendage don't ever break your bones while you're filming. Like don't do that. Okay.
Well, so, I remember in the Telfar photo shoot, you had the boot and everyone was wondering what, yeah.
Like that was, people are so crazy. They thought like I wanted to wear a boot. Like I put a boot on as
Who wants to wear a boot, huh?
Like people thought they were like, why would she do that as a fashion statement? It's not a fashion statement. I had a broken freaking toe. But anyway,
come on.
No one. I'll tell you this. I was in so much pain for like that second half of the.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Season, and no one cared. No one cared.
You know, everyone just has to carry on with their lives. I guess it's like let Gizelle suffer here in the pandemic with her broken foot.
Really? So I can tell you this, our second trip was the worst trip we've ever taken in 6 seasons. Okay. Worst trip ever. So be prepared for that.
Worst drama, like worse as in like drama. There's a lot of drama, or worse in like not fun.
Food, accommodations. Of course there's drama because it's us, but like everything else was just like, it sucked.
This is the salad toss. That's the salad toss, I'm guessing.
That's the salad toss. Yes. Yes. Which, by the way, I can say I wasn't there, hadn't gotten there yet. Thank you, Jesus. Because if I was there, Gibson, I would be blamed for this.
Right.
In some way. I'm blamed for everything.
Well, you got to pull an Ashley by sort of just coming in after the drama and be like, what happened?
Yes. What happened? What do you mean? What happened?
Oh my God.
So, yeah, but it is a great season. I'm just so happy and humbled by the fact that like the whole world has woken up and realized that Potomac is a lot of fun. We always having a party in the P.
Giselle, you know what? I'm of the opinion that we can retire Don't Sleep on Potomac because I don't think people are sleeping on it anymore. I think that it's very much, it has solidified its ground. It is, to me, it's a pillar of Bravo at this point. And so I think people woke up during the pandemic to Potomac finally.
Yes, indeed.
Well, Gizelle, it's so fun to always talk to you. Obviously, everyone tune into Real Houses of Potomac Sundays at 8. What's the chat room? Is it on it's on different times each night, right?
Yeah, tonight we're on at 9. It's on different, either 9 or 10.
9 or 10. Check your local listings, but definitely tune into chat room as well because it's been really fun, especially lately. It's been popping off. So
yes,
I love it. Well, Gizelle, thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. For more celebrity interviews, subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review us, as any show of support you can give us would be greatly appreciated. You can follow me at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram, and and you can follow In the Know at In the Know on Twitter and at Watch In the Know on Instagram. We'll talk to you next time.